Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Lisa. Today I'm going to be working on this project that looks like 3 stacked tags, but in reality it is actually one piece of paper, and it is double-sided. So you can either attach it to a page so that this part flips out and you can use it, writing on, adding pictures, etc., or you can just use it as a tag and be able to have both sides to be able to go in there. I think it's very cute. I do have a front pocket on here. So there is a pocket, and these look like faux pockets, but like I said, surprise. So this is really easy to do, and if you want to stay tuned to see how I make this, I would be happy if you join me. Okay, so I'm starting with double-sided paper. These are all double-sided. Some of them are cut-offs from 12 by 12s. Some of these are from the Tim Holtz backdrop collection, so they are 6 by 10. This is actually a little taller than 6. This is a cut-off from another project I did recently, and that is a cut-off from a 12 by 12. So you can start with really any height. This one was a 6-inch, I believe. Yeah, this was a little bit higher than 6 actually. And it was the 12-inch version. Yep, this one started out by a little bit bigger than 6 by 12. So if you start out by 6 by 12, you're going to end up with about a 4-inch tag because there's 3 pieces. So it is definitely chunkier. And if you start off with like the 10-inch version, you're going to end up with a skinnier version, and this one ends up being about 3 and shy of a half. So this would be the skinnier version. Here's the same pocket in there and the same flip ups and the back. I cut it in the wrong spot, so I had to tape it. So this was my practice piece here. I could still use it if I wanted to, especially if I wanted to glue this whole thing down. It might make it a little stronger and be able to add some stuff to that. Maybe put some of that, you know, this kind of paper on there so it can be handwritten in or something like that. Yeah, test piece. But you can see what the 2 sizes are. So depending on how wide, 10, 12, that's how wide your tags are going to be. So probably the smallest you'd want to do would maybe start with 6 inches, because then you'd have 2-inch wide tags. So it'd be really skinny, but it would work. Okay, so let me show you. I have mostly these dark ones, but let's start with this light fun one, because I don't really have, I've been making a lot of darker stuff lately. So let's start with this light fun one. All right, I'm going to use a scoreboard. Now, if I was brave, I would just try to fold this in 2/3, but I'm not that brave. All right, so the first thing you have to do is figure out which piece you want as the back tall one, because that is the one that's going to stick out the most. The one that's in the front is where we're going to cut off a piece for the pocket. So if I made this the front, this would be the front here, and then this part would be the pocket, but it would be the opposite side. If I put this in the back, it would be mostly hidden as words for that. So I think I'm going to put this one in the front. All right, so we're going to start with the one in the back. So we are going to score, since this is 12, we're going to score 4 inches in for this. All right, so 4 inches. And my little score thing is getting worn off. It's not really scoring very well. This was a there we go. Now I'm making a nice divot. I don't even remember where I got this from. I think I got it from Hobby Lobby. Okay, so that's going to be the back one. So we're going to fold this way and give it a nice crease going that way. Okay, so for the front piece, we're going to fold it back, and we are going to just fold it and not score it. Reason being is sometimes you score it and it ends up not being exactly where it's at. It shifts, and I find if I do that, I get a pretty good division. Okay, so there is our 3 pieces. Fingers work, fingers work. There we go. Front, middle, back. Okay, so the next thing we need to do is cut down the front piece. All right, so we are going to score the front piece at 2 inches. And I'm going to score it now. We're going to go back and cut it, but I'm just scoring it so I know where I'm going to cut it. So we're going to score this at 2 inches right there. And we're going to take our scissors, and I can't see the mark, I think. I can see it better on this side. All right, we're going to cut it. I'm going to cut it right below the score so I don't have that weird divot on my pocket. And then we're going to cut down here. All right, so this piece, and I had really kind of a crooked cut there. There we go, that's a little better. This piece is going to become the front pocket here in an opposite direction. Okay, so now that we have the front piece cut, we now need to score the middle piece. And this one is going to be at 1 inch below. So we're gonna do our best to let's do it this way, Lisa. Duh. We're gonna score at 1 inch. And we're going to score from the part that we cut to that part. All right, give it a nice deep swivel. Now this 1 inch and 2 inch is totally not a guess by me, but just what I determined I wanted to have the different heights being. Now if you want more of a difference, if you want to make it, 3 inches down so you have a really short tag, and then make this one 1.5, you can. You can really make it any size you want it to. And this piece is now a spare piece for decoration. It goes in a little side bucket. Okay, so there we go. We have our 3 layers. Now for the tags, what we're going to do is we're going to cut our tag shape we want here, and I'm going to use the pieces to go further down and cut them so they all look uniform. And there's a couple ways to do it. You can just eyeball it. If you've got like a template, I got like a little template here, and none of these are really going to be that good. Oh, that one's not too bad. Let's use that one. Okay, we're going to use that one, and we're going to cut that side, and then we're going to flip this over, and we're going to cut this side. Oops, slippery, sliding, there we go. Okay, all right, so now this is part where it gets a little bit more difficult because you're gonna try to cut inside of here, and you're kind of stuck in the middle here. So what we're gonna do, oops, is we're gonna put the template in its right spot, and we're going to snip down the fold, and then go ahead and snip that corner. And this one should be, yeah, this one we don't have to snip down the side because it ends up a little bit higher than that. So this one we can do fairly simply. Okay, now we're going to flip this back this way, and once again we're going to just snip down the, I use my small scissors, and I'm trying to use these big scissors. Alright, and then we're going to flip it to that side. And like I said, if you don't have one of these templates, you can just take one of your first chompy guys and just keep switching them. But as you can see, that template works pretty good. This is a piece of hard mylar that I had when I got my watercolor pencils from Tim Holtz. This was like a covering of it. So I was able to cut a piece and make it into a sort of faux tag template. Okay, so we got 3 faux tags. Right? Cute. And then we have this. Now this I did use, I went up, nope, I went yellow. I did use the whole circle punch to cut out a thumb notch. And we're just gonna go over the edge of this to find some of the boundaries. Totally not necessary if you don't want to. Okay. All right, so we're going to go ahead and glue this on. I think I am going to straighten this bottom out because my cutting ability was not that grand on that. Come on. There we go. Nothing huge, but just a little crooked. Okay. And we will go ahead and glue that down. I almost feel bad because I'm getting rid of that faux tape, but that's okay. Still see the letters, which is the reason why I did want to put that in the front, because I did like the letters. And we're going to glue it on like a pocket. So not only do you have a phenomenally huge writing space, being you get to open this up and have writing space, and if you don't glue it in, writing space, because it all gets tucked in. Add some fun stuff to those. You also get a place that you're going to be able to stick a little goodie in. Now, if you really wanted to make them look like truly faux tags, you could punch the circle punch in there. You could add ribbon to them, trims to them, so that they look like 3 little tags. And especially if you took them and stuck them in its own little pocket, we're going to pretend this postcard's a pocket. So if you had a little pocket and you wanted to take this and stick it in a pocket, you could do that and then be able to take it out and write on it, write on it, write on it, write on it, stick it back in the pocket. Cute. I like it. I like it a lot. Okay. All right, so that was a 12-inch one. So let's make one of the shorter ones that is the 10-inch to show you what that looks like. All right, let's do this one because it's got such a diverse color front and back. And I do like the fact, I like to pick them when they have a lot of different colors because it really gives a variety when you're doing between the pages. So, all right, so for this one, we're gonna wanna score it at not 3.5, the one right before it, which is 3 3/8. But I wanna see which one I want in the back. Do I want that in the back? I don't want that in the back. I can't do that because it'd be upside down. So that's in the back. And then that's in the front. I totally don't mind that in the front. But if I cut that in the front, this is going to be cut off. And it's going to say Ash. So it's going to be weird. Okay, we're going to make that the back. All right, so this is the back. We're going to do the 3 3/8 instead of 3.5. 3.5 and 3.5 and 3.5 is 10.5, which is too big. So 3 1/4 is 9 3/4, so it's a little short. So the one between 3 1/4 and 3.5, so that would be 3/8, which is what I said earlier. I was second guessing myself for a second there. All right, so 3 3/8 for that piece, and you are going to be the back piece, So this is the front piece, and we're going to just go ahead and fold it down and score it. So since it's not very divisible, you do have this little extra piece here, but I don't think it's very noticeable on it. Oh, okay. So once again, we are going to trim the front piece, and we are going to score it at 2 inches. And this is still 6, so I can still do the 2 inch and 1 inch. But if you were going to do shorter ones like this, this one is only like 4.5. You might want to determine that maybe the first score is, because if you do 2, you got a small one. You might do 1.5 and like 3/4, something like that, just to give the staggered a look. But that would have to be determined by whatever height you have. 6 seems to be a really good height for these, though. Okay, so back to the front panel. We're going to score. Oops, it jumped off the rail. I'm going to score it 2 inches. And big scissors to cut. See if I can cut this one a little straighter. All right, so that will be the pocket, key card, shift tab, tab lock, cute. Okay, so that was that. So now we need to cut this middle piece down to 1 inch. So we're going to flip it this way and this way. There we go. And we're gonna do 1 inch. And like before, if you want to do a different size, by all means, you do you. But I think that's a nice step up. 1 and 2 inches. So you basically have a 4-inch tag, a 5-inch tag, and a 6-inch tag. Like Mama Bear, Papa Bear, Mama Bear, Baby Bear. And again, fun little piece to be able to decorate with in the bucket. Cute, right? And like I said, this is going to go here. And I am just going to do the tiniest bit of a thumbnail because I don't want to get rid of that key card word, and I did not center it. Oh well. That's what happens when you're doing it quickly. All right, so I think, I wonder if I could do this. Now the only one I'm not going to be able to do is these inside ones. So I'm going to take one of my little doo-doo. Okay, you go there. So you're going to go here. Take one of my little samples, and we're going to cut down and cut across. Okay, that was not the correct way. Okay, you went there, so you would go here. There we go, that's better. Okay. And if you went there, then you would go here. Not the easiest way to do it with that little snappy piece, but probably the hardest part of this whole thing is trying to get the pockets. Not too bad. I can live with that. I don't mind the smaller tabs on those because it's a smaller tag. I do like that juxtaposition in colors. Cute. Okay, so we're going to glue this pocket down. I can't. I'm like shaky McGee here. All right. One last bone fold on here. Push the pocket down. And there we go. Notes, writing, add a little bit of paper to it. Cute in the back. Tuck it into something. I like it. Yeah, I like it a lot. I wonder if maybe stick a flower down there would be kind of fun. I found this too kind of laying around as a thing to go on the black. I don't mind that one. Kind of looks a bit, it's pinkish orange, but I don't know if I want to stick something in there. The pocket might open it up. And I wonder. I don't think I want to put something back there just yet. You know, I'm not even totally sure I'm going to put that somewhere that needs a floral item. That's the hard part about decorating these things in advance. You don't know what journal is going to eventually go into. So you don't know if you should be that specific with something. So you can cut that leaf off and just do the flower. Same with this. Cut the leaf off and just do the flower. This was just one of the, I did this a while ago. It was a washi tape, a light washi tape that I put over a magazine page. I think actually the Sears Roebuck catalog, just to dull it down. And it looks very, very weathered. I like it. All right, I'm putting it down. Yeah, see, that's what the ink would look like, and that's what it looks like when you have it on there. I'm going to move it over close to the end there. And then we're just gonna put that on there. Put that on there. All right, I think we're gonna do that. We're gonna get rid of the stem. Okay, save you for another day. That's too big. That's not too bad. But I don't even mind that. I wish this finger was facing the other way. We're Or do I do black? I just saw something. I think I do black. Ties it in. Pulls it down. Too big. We're going with department 253. Sometimes you just need to say when to stop looking. Gonna cut the corners off. I love to do that. Gives it a bit of a weathered look. And ink the edges just to grungy it up a tad. All right. Now, any of the inside decorating, like I said, that would be at some point. Covered up the bit of a stem that was there. Not necessary, but I liked it. Yeah, so if you wanted to at some point add something on the inside, more like the actual for the journal, add some writing pages here if you had something and you want to put some writing pages on there, you could do that. Similar to what I think I said with the other one. I have, not this is too big, but like part of a postcard in there. Yeah. There's faux, fake tags. I like it. Stick a little something in the pocket. Cute. Okay. All right, well, I hope you like this idea. And if you've got any pieces of double-sided paper and you want to make these, I think they're great. I'll even bring in my faux sample. That is not correct. 12-inch, 10-inch, and again, anything in between. Like I said, 6 would probably be the smallest I would do. And if you had like a 7-inch, then you just figure out what about a third would be and go from there. Yeah, you can make them a whole bunch of different sizes. I like it. Very fun. Okay, well, that is going to be it for this video. If you like the idea, please give it a thumbs up. Leave any comments, questions below. That helps out these videos immensely when you guys ask questions and leave comments below. It's free and it's easy to do. All right, that's going to be it for me today. Thanks so much for stopping by. And as usual, I hope you all have a wonderful and creative day. Bye for now.